Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Eric.
And today we are going to be talking about some whiskeys. That's what this channel is going to be. We're going to be talking about various different whiskeys. We're going to start this channel mainly focused on some bourbons. And today we're going to start with Buffalo Trace, which is distilled out of its namesake, the Buffalo Trace Distillery up in Frankfort, Kentucky.
Just some notes on the distillery itself. The distillery started back in 1792. Had changed hands a few times. They were one of 4 distilleries that were allowed to produce bourbon during the Prohibition, but for medicinal purposes only. And in the early 90s, the Sazerac Company purchased a distillery, and then officially in 1999, they renamed the distillery the Buffalo Trace Distillery. There's some other names, brands that you might recognize that are produced at the distillery, the E.H. Taylor Collection, Blanton's, and the Weller Collection as well, along with the Stag and Stag Jr.
So Buffalo Trace, when they renamed it in 1999, there was somebody actually taking the tour that asked, well, where's the Buffalo Trace bourbon? And that is when Elmer T. Lee decided, yeah, let's do this. Went out, picked a handful of barrels. They blend together about 40 different barrels, and they're somewhere between 8 to 10 years old, and put them all together. They bottle this at 90 proof, which is 45% alcohol. This bottle is actually from that distillery. I went up there for a tour.
Some interesting notes on this one, though. They only pick barrels from the middle of the warehouse, where in some distilleries they rotate the barrels from the bottom floor all the way up to the top, so they kind of get that even temperature change. But here they felt that there's the most fluctuation is actually in the middle, so this is where all the barrels are picked from.
So the first thing I always get, especially from almost any Buffalo Trace, that mash bill number 1, which is what they use here. It's a wheated bourbon, and it's a low rye bourbon. And the first thing you get is that super sweet caramel it's picking it up from that charred oak.
Heavy on the fruit.
It's it's great color. Everything about this it's just that standard, straight down the middle, what a bourbon should be. So, all right, let's
give it a taste.
Her up. All right, so initial thoughts there. It's 90 proof. You do taste a little bit of that ethanol, but it goes away really quick.
Yeah, it's not a lot of burn to it at all. Very smooth.
Very smooth. That sweetness that you get on the nose comes right through on that initial taste. It's not a super complex taste. It's just that kind of sweet, just solid flavor.
Kind of the hint of, I get a little bit of toffee.
Caramel finishes nicely. There's no odd aftertaste there. It does have, as they call, legs. I still don't totally get the legs thing, but when you tilt your glass around, you'll start to see the oil coming off of the bourbon dripping down the side of the glass.
Yep.
A little bit more oil, you're going to have a little bit more of that. It's going to have that a little different mouth taste. Overall, just a very solid bourbon. Generally for a regular sized bottle like that, somewhere in the mid to high 20s is usually what you should find it. It is allocated, so you'll have to wait for it to come out every once in a while. It is kind of a pain in the butt to get some places. There are places who will jack the price up because of that. But overall, it's an easier bourbon to find.
It's a popular one out there, and there's a lot of stores around here that will. It's limit 1 per customer, so everyone can get a bottle. No hoarding or no purchasing it all up, so you can keep it for yourself.
Though at the store, in the distillery, buy as many as
you
like.
want.
They're okay with you coming up and just buying it. That is easily delicious. But the one fun part here is I'm going to do a quick little surprise. I've got a single barrel of Buffalo Trace that I picked up when I was visiting some family. So this is all the same. So it's same mash bill, all that kind of thing. But it's selected as a single barrel. Somebody goes up, does the tasting. Usually it's a small group of people, and they get to sample a handful of different bourbons and pick which barrel really, has that best flavor to them. So I'm gonna throw this in here. I haven't had this for a while. I'm gonna throw this in here and see.
Interesting to see what the difference is.
Yeah. Is there a different note? That's a slightly heavy pour.
That's all right. I'm not gonna complain.
Way more apple.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Very, very strong apple. Still the caramel and the brown sugar sweet notes, but
yeah, last one had a little more citrus to it. This one's more heavier on the apple.
like you don't even taste the alcohol in that. That's
No.
smooth.
There's no burn whatsoever.
Wow. They must have select that to just be a pure drinker because that is just
No ice required.
no, not at all. This is a neat.
Might even ruin it.
Probably. That's really good.
Yes.
That is smoother. It's just so much smoother.
Yeah.
I don't even. It's hard to explain.
It's got some legs to it too.
Yeah.
How much was this bottle?
You love it. They had a bunch of Buffalo Trace on the shelf for $28. Their single barrel was $29. So
And get one of each.
they had 3 bottles. I bought 3 bottles and gave one to my brother, and I held on to 2. That's what's left of the second one. That is, that's nice. So that's our review of Buffalo Trace and the single barrel. If you enjoy exploring some whiskeys with us, then if you could, please hit that like button
Subscribe to the channel.
and hit the bell so that you get notifications, and see you at the next show.
Thanks for viewing.
Cheers.
See you in the next episode. Cheers.